All right, so today we're getting into a really raw, really powerful essay. It's called My Brother's Keeper, written by a guy who goes by the Appalachian Gorilla. And man, this thing, it's just an absolutely unflinching look at loyalty, violence, and a specific kind of manhood that's, forged in some serious hardship.
Okay, so the author, he doesn't waste any time. Right from the very first line, he just throws you headfirst into his world. And it's a world defined by this brutal, visceral conflict, right from when he was a little kid. You get the sense this isn't just a story he's telling, it feels more like, I don't know, a testimony, right, from the front lines of a really tough life. So let's really unpack how that life shaped who he is. To really get to the heart of what this guy is saying, we've got to start with the world he came from. A world where, well, survival and even dominance were often settled with just pure brute force. So look at this. His life, it wasn't just, a few random fights here and there. No, it was this constant state of defending and being defended by this tight circle of guys he calls his brothers. And this timeline, it lays it all out. We're talking childhood brawls at the bus stop, to his youth defending a brother getting jumped, all the way to adulthood, promising his brother in county prison that he'll be there for him. This wasn't an exception. This was his reality. But this is key, because all those acts of loyalty, they're not about keeping score, right? It's not, you did this for me, so I'll do this for you. The author makes it super clear that this whole thing runs way deeper than some simple transaction. He sees it in a completely different light. I mean, listen to this. He just completely throws out the whole idea of debt. For him, it's not about paying someone back. This kind of fierce loyalty, it's not some obligation you have to check off a list. It's an essential, totally non-negotiable part of who he is. It's his very definition of what it means to be a man.
So this is what he lives by. You could call it the keeper's code. It's this unbreakable bond where you literally carry your brothers through their absolute worst times because without a doubt, they'd do the exact same for you. And he explains this whole mindset in a really interesting way. He takes a very famous story and puts this stark, modern spin on it. So he brings up that famous footsteps in the sand story. You've probably seen it, right? It's that parable about how during the hard times in life, there's only one set of footprints because Jesus is carrying you. It's all about a higher power stepping in to support you. But then he completely flips it. He challenges that whole idea. And he asks this really piercing question: what happens when you're looking for that divine help, but all you see around you are people who are just as broken as you are, or maybe even worse off? What do you do then? Who carries you?
Well, for him, the answer is crystal clear. In a world without angels, where there's no divine intervention coming, that sacred duty to carry someone through the fire, it falls to the men standing right there beside you, your brothers. They become the ones who carry you.
Which brings us to the keeper's burden. Because this code, it's not some romantic, abstract idea. Oh no. It comes with a heavy, very real price right here in the present day. And it's testing the absolute limits of his commitment and his resources. And here's where it gets real. He lays out the current situation with one of his brothers. And this isn't some story from 20 years ago. This is happening right now. The guy is strung out, he's unemployed, he's suffering from seizures, he has nowhere to live, and the author is the one caring for him. He's taken him in, shouldering that entire burden all by himself.
So why? Why does he do it? Well, because he never forgets where he came from. He says it flat out. He didn't start out with any advantages, and his sense of duty, it's all grounded in that shared traumatic past where these same guys were the ones who sheltered him when he had absolutely nothing. And this whole experience, it's given him a razor-sharp perspective on what real friendship actually is. He draws this really stark line in the sand between the brothers who stood by him, the ones who actually wanted what was best for him, and the so-called friends who just offered a temporary high and then vanished. It's a clear distinction, isn't it? The people who build you up versus the ones who just want a partner in crime. Okay, so from all of this, the violence, the loyalty, the sacrifice, the author pulls together this really clear, direct philosophy. It's a piece of wisdom for what he calls our atomized, totally disconnected modern world. And he makes a really important point right here. For him, this isn't some abstract theory you can debate about. No, this is practical, hard-won wisdom. It's a guide for living, not just for thinking. And based on that wisdom, he starts laying out these direct challenges to our modern way of life. First up, he says we need more connection and less of the individualism that just leaves everyone isolated.
Next, he argues we need more of that wisdom that comes from actually living life and less of the detached philosophy that comes from just thinking about it. Then he calls for more warriors, people of action, people with conviction, and a lot fewer bureaucrats who are just there to manage the system.
He also emphasizes that we need more actual men, people who take responsibility, and fewer, children who refuse to grow up.
And finally, he brings it all home with this incredible metaphor. He says we need more wolves who work together to strengthen the pack and way fewer crabs in a bucket who do nothing but pull each other back down. It's such a powerful way to put it all together.
And after all of that, it all boils down to this one simple line. That's it. That's his final central message. A simple but incredibly profound call to action that really just summarizes his entire life's philosophy. And he doesn't present it like it's a suggestion, it's a moral imperative. So it really leaves us with a pretty critical question to chew on, doesn't it? In a world that prizes the individual above almost everything else, what does it truly mean to be responsible for someone else?